So last time we were discussing this primal dual algorithm for Steiner tree, and so we were trying to work out the details of how to choose the dual variables, in what order we should increase the dual variables. So first we just worked out this on an example where we were just increasing dual variables in an arbitrary order. We were just choosing an arbitrary dual variable and increasing it and then maintaining tight edges. So there was this example where it seemed like the output we are getting is much worse than the optimal solution. And in fact, we said that there could be examples where um, the algorithm will give something which is much worse than the optimal solution. So not bounded by a constant multiple. So that's why it's not a good strategy to um, choose dual variables arbitrarily. So then the next thing we considered was choosing the dual variables in a systematic manner. So this was our idea that uh, we will choose a minimal set. So I mean we considered this example where we had two terminals T1 and T2, and then we kept choosing sets which are which contain T1, which don't contain T2, and they are inclusion wise minimal sets. So in the sense the minimal set with basically minimal with respect to the number of vertices. So minimal set which includes T1, excludes T2, and does not the cut set should not intersect any tight edges. So with that scheme, we worked out this two terminal case, and here it seemed like we are getting an optimal solution. Uh, so then we said, does this idea work for multiple terminals? Right. So we tried to generalize this idea to three terminals. So in three terminals, we again followed a similar strategy. So we fixed one terminal T1, and then we said we will keep choosing sets which include T1, exclude T2 and T3, and they are inclusion wise minimal, right? And then we moved forward with this strategy, and this was the example. And so here in the example, the final solution we got was this. So we wanted to connect T1 with T2 and T3. So the solution we got was this pink edges we see here. So the cost of this solution was 42. On the other hand, the optimal solution would have been 23, where instead of choosing these two paths from T1 to T2 and T1 to T3, we could have simply chosen the path from T1 to T3 and the edge T2 T3. So that would have given us a much better solution. Uh, but if you compare the output of this algorithm and the optimal solution, it's not that bad. I mean, it's so the optimal is 23, the algorithm gives you 42. Uh, so it's not more than the twice of the optimal, right? So one could still hope that it gives you at most twice of the optimal. So in that sense, it's not that bad. An example. Okay, so I will show an example where actually it can go much worse than twice. So it could be three times the optimal or five times of the optimal. I mean, so basically there is no constant factor by which you can bound the output of the algorithm, right? So we want to see such an example. So before that, any questions? Okay, so consider this example with four terminals. So when you have more and more terminals, this strategy will give you really bad performance. Okay, so suppose you have four terminals, you want to connect all four terminals with each other, right? And suppose we follow this strategy that we will just keep choosing sets which include one terminal, let's say T1, exclude other terminals, and we'll keep growing the set as we keep getting the tight edges. And the idea will be always to pick uh, a minimal, inclusion wise minimal set that includes T1. Okay, so in the beginning, we'll just pick this, a set that just contains T1, right? And then, so here you can increase it by 10. When you increase it by 10, you will get two tight edges here, this T1A and T1B. Okay, so now these two edges are tight. Now you ask what is the inclusion wise minimal set which includes T1. And of course, the cut set should not intersect the tight edges, right? So the next thing you will see, so basically, you should consider the connected component formed by the tight edges, right? So T1AB is a connected component using the tight edges. So uh, T1AB is our next set which we will consider. And now, how much can we increase this dual variable? This we can increase by 1 because this edge has cost 11. So this will become tight now. Uh, okay, correct me somewhere if I go wrong in this. Okay, and now once this has become tight, then the next set we will consider will be T1ABC because that is the now connected component using the tight edges. So we have this T1ABC, and now how much can we increase? So this edge BT3 we have already contributed 1. So now we can contribute 9, and that will make this edge tight, right? But the other two are still non-tight, right? So this A T2 and C T4 are still not tight. So now we can consider the set again. Yeah, yeah. I'm not recording on WebEx. I'm recording on some other thing. Yeah. Uh, yeah. So next set you will consider will be like this, right? So T1, A, B, C, and T3. That is the connected component formed by the tight edges. And now how much can you increase this dual variable? For so the cut edges you see are T3, T4, T2, T4, A, T2, and C, T4. And so for A, T2 you have already contributed 10. So you can contribute one more. That will make this edge tight. Uh, and that will, yeah, and that's it. So this edge is still not tight. So we'll make one more, we'll consider more set which includes T2 now. So we should include T2, we should include T3, just exclude T4. That's it. So that is the set we consider, and how much can we increase this one? So now this CT4 we have already contributed 10, so we can increase it by one more. So then this will also become tight. Okay. So you can work out the details if you have not followed it. But so basically, what is happening in this example is that we are basically getting the shortest path from T1 to T2, shortest path from T1 to T3, shortest path from T1 to T4. That's what we are getting in this algorithm. In general, if you have multiple terminals, T1, T2, T2, T3 up to Tk, then what you will get is shortest path from T1 to each of the terminals, right? And this could be a really bad solution because a better solution might be that you use the connections between the terminals T2, T3, T3, T4, and so on, which we have not been using in this algorithm. So this algorithm somehow is not giving any of these edges which are connecting T2 and T3 and T3 and T4. And this is happening because we are focusing on only one terminal. So we always consider those sets which include T1. So minimal sets which include T1. So that is kind of uh, so I mean that's where the algorithm looks bad. So in this example, the algorithm will give you 33 and 63. So the total cost you will get is 63, while the optimal is basically you can take connect T1 with T3. So you consider the shortest path from T1 to T3, and then you could have taken T3 T2 and T3 T4, those two edges. So that optimal solution is 28, right? So now you see it's even more than the twice, right? So even higher than the twice. So as you have more terminals, you will see that the approximation factor is getting worse and worse, right? So we cannot bound it by 2. So that's why this strategy is not good, and that's why we want to move on to the next idea, which was that we will simultaneously increase multiple dual variables. Instead of just one dual variable, we will maintain multiple dual variables and increase all of them simultaneously. Okay, so this is the idea that at any point we will consider all inclusion wise minimal sets uh, which are interesting and the cut edges are non-tight. So this is a bit complicated description. So to simplify it, basically what we are considering is at any point you look at the tight edges and just look at the connected components formed by the tight edges. Look at all the connected components and increase the dual variables for all those connected components. That's it. That's all we are doing. So at any stage, we'll have some tight edges. Those tight edges will give us some connected components. We will increase the dual variable for all those connected components. Okay. So I'll show it by on this example, the new strategy on this example. So, okay, so so initially there are no tight edges. Okay, so what are our interesting cuts? So basically singleton sets are our connected components, right? So that will be what we'll start with. Okay, so we'll just consider singleton sets and the dual variable corresponding to them, right? So this is also a singleton set, but it's not interesting because remember that we are only interested in those cuts which separate some terminal pair, right? So if you consider this set, it does not separate any terminal pair. So that's why we will not. So basically, there is no dual variable corresponding to this. So we cannot consider this. Okay. So I hope this point is clear. Yeah. So we'll consider all these four dual variables simultaneously and increase them by same amount. Okay. So if you consider here you could have increased it by 10, right? But on the other hand, if you consider this dual variable, you could increase it by 4. But remember, we'll increase all of them by the same amount. So if I want to increase all of them by epsilon, then the contribution for this edge to T2, T3 will be 2 epsilon, right? So that means that I can take epsilon equal to 2. So I will increase all of them by 2, all the dual variables by 2 simultaneously. So the contribution for T2, T3 will be 4. Contribution for T3, T4 also be 4. And here also, so here contribution for T1A will be only 2. Okay. So once we do this increment, then we see that T2, T3 has become tight. T3, T4 has become tight. And I think that's it. So these are the tight edges. Okay. So now uh, we have some new tight edges. So now the new sets we will consider are basically the connected components uh, using the tight edges, right? So on the left hand side, we don't have anything. On the right hand side, we have this new connected component. So that is our new dual variable we will consider. Okay. And this dual variable which contains T1, that is still under consideration, right? So right now, what are the connected components? So connected components are basically T2, T3, T4 are in one component. T1 is in one component. A, B, C are their own components, right? But we are not considering A, B, C because they won't give us interesting cuts. Okay. So right now we have only two dual variables. And how much can we increase? So if we consider here, so consider this edge T1A. So we have already contributed 2. So we could possibly do plus 8, right? So we could possibly do increment of 8 here. But let's also consider the right hand side edges. So here the edge BT3 we have already contributed 2. So again we can contribute 8 more here, right? So it is safe to contribute 8, right? So because both are, I mean on both sides we are getting 8, so we can increase 8. If we had some different numbers, then we would have considered the minimum of the two, right? So whichever would have been the minimum number, we would have increased the both the dual variables by the same quantity. Okay. So right now we'll increase both of them by 10. When we do that, this will become tight, and this will also become tight, and this will also become tight. Okay, and that's it. Uh, and here we see that we have a component which has connected T1 with T2, T3, T4. So we stop here, right? Because everything we wanted to connect has been connected. Okay, and we stop here. Now we go to the pruning step. So in the pruning step, we say that whichever edge in the final solution is not used in connecting any terminal pair, we throw out that. Okay, so this edge T1A has not been really used, right? So if you want to connect in this forest, T1, T2, T3, T4, they are connected without this edge T1A, so you can throw this out. Okay, so the final solution is only this T1B, BT3, T3, T2, and T3, T4. So the cost you are getting here is basically 28. Okay, so and 28 is actually the optimal. So in this example, you are actually getting the optimal uh, solution. Okay, so hopefully this example is clear, and now I will formally describe the algorithm in general. So yeah, so the question is how to decide the value of epsilon, how much to increase the dual variables. So basically for each dual variable, you individually check how much can you increase it. and you just take the minimum value, whichever is the minimum value among all dual variables which are currently in consideration, that will be your epsilon. So does that make sense? Okay, so in the beginning, we had four dual variables, T1, T2, T3, T4, right? And I mean, so you could write these kind of things, right? So for T1, you could have said epsilon should be at most 10 and epsilon should be at most 11, right? So this H T1A will tell you that it's at most 10. H T1C will tell you that it's at most 11. But on the right hand side here, you see that uh, for H T2 T3, the increase is 2 epsilon, right? So that will tell you that epsilon should be at most, so 2 epsilon should be at most 4. That's what this H T2 T3 will tell you. The H BT3 will tell you that epsilon should be at most 10. The H T2A will tell you that epsilon should be at most 11. Okay, so you'll get all these constraints from different edges. So each edge will tell you how much epsilon can be, what can be the maximum value of epsilon, and then you take the minimum among those. So this constraint tells us that epsilon should be at most 2. So that's why we had chosen epsilon equal to 2. So make sense? Yeah. Okay, so I'll move on to describing the formal algorithm. So basically, this is the algorithm which we have discussed so far. So, so initially all the dual variables are zero. Okay, so and when dual variables are zero, then there are no tight edges. So your set F, which is the primal solution, that is empty. Okay, and the invariant we will have is that F will always be a forest. So the primal solution we are constructing, that will always be a forest. Okay. So at any stage, you have some dual values for some dual variables. So that gives you some tight edges, right? So at any stage, you have some tight edges. Initially, of course, you don't have any tight edges. So you consider all the connected components, okay? And now, what property we will have is that remember that all the tight edges are within these connected components, right? That is by the definition, because we are considering connected components formed by the tight edges. Okay, so that's why um, all the tight edges are within these components. So in other words, we can say that these cut sets, delta S1, delta S2, delta Sk, these cut sets, uh, these edges, all the cut edges are non-tight, right? So if at any stage, if you are considering your connected components as these S1, S2, Sk, so by definition, all the tight edges are inside these. Okay. So any edges which go across S1, across S2 to some other component, these are non-tight. So that's why we can say that all the edges in delta S1, delta S2, delta Sk are non-tight. And that's why these variables ys1, ys2, ysk, they can be increased simultaneously. Okay. So the plan is to increase them simultaneously. But there is one thing you need to be careful about. So we should only consider the active connected components. So what do I mean by active connected components? So these are those connected components that separates some terminal pair, right? So if it separates some terminal pair, then it's interesting, and then there is a corresponding dual variable, right? If if there is a connected component which does not separate any terminal pair, then it's not interesting and there is no dual variable corresponding to it. So if we go back to the example, so in the beginning, A, B, and C, they were also valid connected components, but they were not interesting because they don't separate any terminal pairs, right? So that's why we did not consider any dual variable corresponding to them. Okay. So basically we should only consider these kind of connected components which separate some terminal pair, and then increase the dual variables for all these active connected components simultaneously by the same amount. And what is this amount? So each edge will give you some constraint on how much can you increase. And basically you should increase by whatever maximum you can increase, right? So just go as much as you can increase. So each edge will give you some constraint on how much can you increase. So you take the minimum amount, right? So the on epsilon, whatever is the minimum bound, that much you can increase. And that will give you some new tight edges. So you include those new tight edges in your F, and then you repeat this process. Okay, so that's all. That's all the algorithm is. So, okay, so I'll move on. So, there is one more thing we need to careful about in this algorithm. So it is possible that at any stage we are getting multiple tight edges, right? So we can include all of them as long as we don't create cycles, right? So this we should be careful about. So suppose currently these are our active components, right? Let's say these three are our active components, and we are getting some new tight edges when we increase the dual variables, right? So maybe this is a tight edge, this is a new tight edge, and this is a new tight edge. Okay, and so this will create a cycle if you include all three of them, right? Because remember that these three circles are already connected, and if you add these three edges, then you will get a cycle. But we want to maintain a forest, right? So basically, the solution is that you should not add all the tight edges at once. You just keep adding them one by one. So if you have these three tight edges in one round, then you just add them one by one, and this you could choose them in an arbitrary order, right? So uh, add them one by one. So suppose you add the first tight edge, then you add the second tight edge. Then this has already become a connected component, right? These three components have now become a one component. So you don't need to add the third tight edge, right? So it is tight, but it will not go into your solution F. In your primal solution F, it will not go. Okay. So yeah, that is the only thing you need to careful about. And finally, you will stop when all the desired terminal pairs have been connected. Okay. Uh, and then you stop, and finally you do this pruning step, which we have been discussing. That finally you have some forest. So in this forest, you see what are the paths connecting your terminal pairs, right? So each terminal pair, there will be a unique path in this forest. So that's easy to find out. So any edges which are not participating in these unique paths, those you can delete, right? So that is the pruning step, and that finishes the algorithm. So the question is, so we had these three edges which were forming cycle, and we chose two of them arbitrarily. So what if the third edge was of the minimum cost? So actually, if you think about, if you work out examples, it doesn't really matter. Uh, at least in our analysis, it won't matter because all the three edges are getting tight simultaneously. So, in the sense, the cost we are paying uh, is not different for the three edges. I mean, the cost in terms of the dual solution we are paying, it's the same for the three edges. So, it's okay. I mean, whichever two we pick, it's fine. I mean, at least in the analysis, it won't matter. That's what you will see in the analysis.